Hey there folks, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. This is Brenton with Vortex Detailing, mobile auto detailing business based in Oregon City, Oregon. In this video, we're going to be working on my dumpster fire Camaro here. As you can see, it would fit perfectly in that dumpster there. We could just light it on up. No, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't do that. I love her too much. But in this video, I'm going to go over proper ceramic coating maintenance. We're going to be talking about the steps taken once a year, sometimes once every 6 months. It really depends on how often you clean your car when it's ceramic coated. This is going to be everything you need to know about maintaining your ceramic coated vehicle indefinitely. Stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys. So I know by looking at the car, it doesn't look super dirty, but just to give you a little background on what's going on here. Typically, this car will get washed at least once a month. It's probably been 2 months at this point. My wife and I have been in the middle of a move, so we haven't had a whole lot of time to keep our vehicles clean. So this car, doesn't get driven a whole lot. It's not totally filthy, but there's a lot of contamination that's just been sitting on there from the pollen, from the dust, everything else. And right now it's early in the morning, it's cool outside, it's moist. The car has already, it's kind of helped me out a little bit because there's a bunch of condensation and dew on the car. So that already has helped loosen up the contamination and the stuff that's on there. So it's a good time to go ahead and remove that. We want to talk about products, method, and everything else in this video. And I want to try to keep it as concise and as simple as I possibly can. I'm going to go through the phases before I actually do them. I'm just going to walk you through them verbally before you see me do it. And then as I do it, I'll probably speed that process up just to speed the video up. Even though it is a very quick process, try to shorten this video up as much as I can. Hopefully I can get it out there on Instagram as well for those clients and for those folks who are thinking about ceramic coating their car or their truck or whatever they may have. This will apply to anything that's ceramic coated. One of the first things that we want to think about, if we haven't washed the car for several months, let's say you had a ceramic coating and it's been 6 months since you washed the car, not a problem. But your pre-wash is going to be very, very vital and very important to minimize, effort for one, and to minimize the chances of you scratching, swirling, or marring your paint. Which of course, we all want that perfect, brilliant paint, especially if we are putting permanent protection on our car. Ceramic coatings make it very easy to clean. And if we do this right, when we actually go to touch the car with our contact wash, there should be very, very little debris or anything on that car. The only thing that should really be on that surface is road grime that didn't come off from the pre-rinse. Now, there's also going to be those embedded contamination, those embedded contaminants that work their way into the clear coat. They do the same thing with your ceramic coating. Ceramic coating is literally a clear coat for your clear coat. It's more of a non-stick surface, and it's protection for that clear coat to make that clear coat last substantially longer and prevent clear coat failure. So those embedded contamination or contaminants are in your ceramic coating, not your clear coat, which is great. So it hasn't worked its way through to potentially damage your paint. A lot of people will tell you, okay, just go to the parts store, go to the store and buy a $12 gallon of Super Clean degreaser. And those Super Clean degreaser is a fantastic product. It's not a detailing product. It's got a high pH. It's caustic. It can destroy plastics. It can destroy paint. It can destroy glass, black trim. It's a caustic chemical, and it's really designed for degreasing. That's why it's a degreaser. It's cheap. You can dilute it heavily, but there is a chance you ruin things if your dilution ratio isn't proper. It's a degreaser. It's made for cleaning engine bays. If you're detailing a lot of heavy equipment or really greasy things, then go ahead and use some Super Clean degreaser. But whenever it comes to an actual vehicle that's not greasy, an all-purpose cleaner is the proper method. And for me, my favorite all-purpose cleaner right now is DIY Details All Clean, diluted 15 to 1. I have never once diluted that product heavier than 15 to 1. nor would they ever recommend you do that. It's a very, very concentrated product. It's a citrus-based product, but it's also pH neutral. It provides lubricity, unlike a degreaser. So you're getting more lubrication for working. It provides a longer working time, and it's not caustic. It's not going to ruin any surface. I can use it inside, outside, wherever I want on any surface and be okay, as long as I'm not in direct sunlight and letting that product dry. So with that said, what do? The first thing that I'm going to do on a car like this, or any vehicle, really any vehicle, especially one that's not ceramic coated, but for sure one that is ceramic coated, before I even touch anything, I'm going to take my all clean and my big pump sprayer right here, diluted 15:1, and I'm going to pre-treat this whole car, or at least half of it. Whatever side I'm going to wash first, I'm going to go ahead and pre-treat the whole thing, let it dwell before I ever put any water on it or anything. It's going to dwell. It's going to emulsify all the bug guts, any contamination that might be on the surface, dirt, grime. It's going to pull that up off the surface. And then before I ever rinse that away, I'm going to go ahead and use a foam cannon. Now, the foam cannon is absolutely optional, but you can get one that attaches to your garden hose if that's all you have to wash a car. Now, I highly suggest getting a pressure washer, an electric pressure washer, hardwire that thing, set it up, have it set up somewhere in your garage or your shop where it's just on a hose reel and you can pull it out and click a button and go. Make your life so much easier to maintain your vehicles and keep them clean. So we got the all-purpose cleaner on, and then we're going to take our wash soap that's in our wash bucket, which just so happens to be by DIY Detail as well. It's their rinseless wash. A rinseless wash is not always recommended, but I highly recommend it in most of the majority of situations. It's 2 gallons of water with 2 capfuls of product. It's a 256:1 dilution ratio. Again, a highly concentrated product that will last a very, very long time, and you can use it on every surface. I clean interiors with it. I'm going to go ahead and take my foam cannon. I dunk it into the wash bucket. I've already done this, but I'll show you. And then I'm going to go over. I'm going to foam over, which is not a very high foam with this particular product. But if you are using any wash soap, is going to be just fine, really. pH neutral, preferably for ceramic coatings. I'm just going to foam over that, let it dwell again, and then I'm going to rinse. So all of the contamination on that surface has been lifted. It's been pulled off. And when I rinse it, it's going to just go away. Never touch the car. There should still be some road grime left over, and that's why we must do a contact wash. So I'm going to spray with the all-purpose cleaner, foam it down, rinse it, and then foam it down again. This is a foam rinse foam method. Once I foam it down again, hit it with the contact wash. I can wash this car. I could wash the whole car without ever rinsing. And then with a rinseless wash, I could go ahead and dry it afterwards without ever rinsing, which is so nice with the rinseless wash. In this case, we're going to be doing some rinsing. We're going to be doing the full meal deal when it comes to ceramic coating maintenance. And that is what is so important here, because we're not just washing the car, we're decontaminating the car. And not that this car needs it, but I really needed to make this video, and it hasn't been washed for a couple months. So it really is probably time to go ahead and just do a full maintenance detail before the winter comes in and make sure that this thing's protected and looking good and beading water the way that it should, even though it really is still. And just being as self-cleaning as it possibly can. And what that requires is multiple products. The first thing we're going to do is obviously do our contact wash, but immediately after that, some people like to dry the car first and then go ahead and do all this, but I don't like to do that. I like to use a rinseless wash to keep the car wet. Rinseless washes aren't going to dry, and if they do dry, they're not going to leave water spots. After the wash process, we're going to do a mechanical and chemical decontamination. And what that entails is using a rust remover, or referred to as an iron decontaminator. It's really a rust remover. Is what it does is it finds any rust that might be on the surface or anywhere on the car from the fallout in the air, like train tracks, brake dust, all these different environmental contaminants. And it will help break those down and pull those up out of the surface. And then what we can do is we can take a clay bar or a synthetic decontamination towel, which is what I'm going to personally use in this video. And we can just lightly go over the surface to pull that embedded contamination off the surface. Now, once that process is done and the car's been decontaminated that way, there's one other step that most people neglect or they just don't know about. And I think it's really, really important. It's especially really, really important if the car is not coated and you're going to polish the car first. You really, really want to make sure that you do this next step, and that's a demineralization. Oftentimes you'll see products called water spot removers. It's the same thing. It's a demineralizer. It's not necessarily going to remove your water spots, but it's going to remove the contamination and the minerals that cause the water spots to potentially etch into the surface. And it's really important when it comes to polishing, because then we don't have that contamination in the surface. We might have those etched in water spots, but now when we polish, we're actually going to remove the water spots and not just drive them deeper into the clear coat, having them come back a week later or 3 days later once the clear coat's done swelling from polishing it. So that's all stuff for another video, but really, really important to use the rust remover with a clay bar and then a demineralizer afterwards. And with the demineralizers, all we're going to do is we're going to spray a couple sprays on the panel, spray to a towel, and we're just going to lightly spread it around the vehicle and just let it sit for a minute. And then we're going to rinse it away. And everything changes when you do that. You get all your hydrophobicity back. It cleans the surface completely, and you'll look at even a non-coated car and you'll go, oh, weird. It almost acts like it's ceramic coated now. Is there something in those mineral removers that cause the water to sheet and bead off? No. Is what happened was you eliminated the contamination that were in the pores of that coating, and you removed them. And so now that surface is actually clean. And a lot of people will think that a clean surface of a car should just be flat. The water should just lay on it flat. That's not true. The water should sheet off. A coated or non-coated car, if the surface is 100% clean, it's going to look like there's some sort of protection on that paint. So without further ado, you guys, let's get into it. I'm going to just grab my bucket just to show you what I got working with right there and how I'm going to do this. Do you have to use a rinseless wash? Absolutely not. My favorite soap for a ceramic coated vehicle is actually called CarPro Reset. You can do your diligence on that. I think you'll find it's probably the best one out there. Again, highly, highly concentrated product. A little bit goes a very long ways. I'm going to go grab my wash bucket and I'm going to show you what's going on. Okay, guys, so I realize that this video is already really long and it's probably going to be a 20 or 30 minute video, and that's okay. Just bear with me. Most people, is what you're going to see is you're going to see them use 2 buckets. One bucket with a rinseless wash is going to be everything you need. You don't need a grit guard. Look at this. There's nothing in there. This is 2 gallons of water with 2 capfuls of rinseless wash. I have a sponge. Now, you're not going to want to use a sponge when you're using regular wash soap, and the reason is that regular wash soap is going to foam up and suds up really thick. It's going to render the sponge useless. It's going to make it so full of foam that you can't even squeeze it like this. It'll be hard as a rock. Do not use a sponge with a regular wash soap. Use wash mitts. The reason I have the towel in here is to get around those tighter, intricate areas like the grill of the car, around the door handles, around the mirrors. Any areas where I can't get to with this sponge, I'll just take a microfiber towel and give it a little scrub. Now, here I have my decontamination towel. This is what I was talking about. See all these perforations in here? So this is basically a rubber towel with perforated rubber, and it will pull the embedded contamination off, put them in the perforations to prevent you from marring or scratching the surface. Not that you can't. You absolutely can scratch and mar the heck out of a surface with a clay bar or a synthetic decontamination towel. So you must use proper lubrication. With all that said, you guys, and I'm going to get into this wash method. I'm going to try to speed up the process a little bit. We're not going to get into wheel cleaning or wheel detailing, but I'll probably just go ahead and, you'll see in the video how I just kind of do it all at once. When I'm letting the car dwell with the chemicals and the rinseless wash, I'll have the same thing done on the wheels. And as the car is dwelling, I'll give the wheels a quick scrub and then rinse it away. So let's go. I almost forgot. Here's my foam cannon. And again, you can see it's full. It's not full of foam. It looks like it's just water in there because it's the rinseless wash. All I did was unscrew the cap, dunk it in my bucket to fill it up. Okay, that's all I'm going to use. All clean and a rinseless wash. And then my iron and rust remover and my demineralizer, and I'll show you that when the time comes. Okay, guys, as what you just saw me do was exactly what I said, the foam rinse. Now I did the all-purpose cleaner. Now, if you don't have a foam cannon, you can just do the all-purpose cleaner. Okay, you do the all-purpose cleaner, let it dwell, rinse it away, start washing. I want to show you guys this. This is really cool. You can tell that I've really maintained this car very well, especially on these door panels. You can see this is a prime area where the coating will look like it's failed. But you see that water behavior, that is when you know you have a very well maintained ceramic coating, because it should always look like that, even if it hasn't been washed for 2 months. So that's the case right now. We don't even need to do the demineralizer. The really obvious sign that you'll need a demineralizer is when the water behavior does not look like that, and instead it flattens out. If the water was flattened out here, we would know for sure we need to demineralize this paint as well as decontaminate it. So do I need to demineralize it? No, but I'm going to in this video just to show you guys what's going on. Let's get back to it. Now, I actually just want to slow this part down for you so you can see really what's going on here. As I said, I've done the foam rinse already. Now I'm just going to foam it one more time, which is really important, especially for these areas in this direct sunlight. We don't want that panel to dry on with water spots. So the rinseless wash will demineralize the water. You're not going to see a bunch of foam from this product. So it's on there. It's going to continue to emulsify and break down the contamination, at the same time prevent me from getting water spots. Really important, really cool little trick. And any really pH neutral, like CarPro Reset, same thing. If that dries directly on your paint, well, you want to be careful with it, especially around black trim and stuff like that, because it can fade it out. But you don't really have to worry about water spots too much with that kind of product. So let's go ahead. I just want to show you my method here. I take my sponge. Hopefully you can see this in the camera. It's full of water. I wring it out to where it's just barely dripping. The perforations in the sponge are going to grab the dirt, and I'll just lightly and straight back and forth motions, no pressure at all. Just go over the surface. And oftentimes I like to flip it, and I know you probably can't see this in the camera, but this red, I like to start with the red side because it shows you what you just did. It just turned black. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it to the black side. I'm going to go over it one more time. Again, no pressure whatsoever here. And then I'm not going to rinse that. I'm just going to dip my sponge back into the bucket. I don't need to see this. Watch how fast this is now. And then the emulsifiers and the rinseless wash. That's it. This is clean. It's dark, but this is clean. The rinseless wash emulsifiers, they pull the contamination from the sponge and they take it to the bottom of the bucket, which means you don't need a grit guard because you're not going to cross-contaminate anything. And you're not going to scratch or mar or damage any surface like this. So again, just flipping my sponge, going over it lightly one more time, pulling off anything that might be there. And I'm just going to carry on, do the whole side of the car. And typically, I like to do the whole process. I finish one side of the car before I move to the next. Means I'm going to decontaminate and demineralize the side of the car before I do the next side. And oftentimes I'll go ahead and I'll do the whole top, I'll do the glass, the whole windshield, the whole rear window. So I get the whole one half of the car plus the top's done. And so when I go to the next side, it's just the side and I'm done. Do my ring one more time here. Move to the opposite side of the roof. Do the same thing. And again, it's nice to use a towel sometimes on the windows and the glass, especially on the front where you want to get this cowl down here a lot cleaner. You know, go ahead and just use a towel. Your best bet. Now, before I even do the sides, I'm just going to take my towel here and I'm going to hit those tighter areas in the mirror crevices here. I'm going to get the mirror itself really gently. I'm going to get the black rubber trim around the door seal, the panel, you know, the window seal. Get that glass, get around this handle really good here. And then, you know, I can come in here on the letters and stuff too if I want and give it a little squeeze and just kind of Try to get in the emblems a little bit better too. It's better than using a brush if you can prevent using a brush. Brushes scratch. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up now. You guys get the gist. I'm just going to go ahead and get after it. Okay, guys, so the whole top, the whole side, the back of the car has been cleaned. Forgot to mention I do like to use a towel a lot of the times on the rear end of the vehicles too, just because, again, there's more tighter areas there that are easier to clean with just a microfiber towel. So normally with a rinseless wash at this point, I could just go straight into my iron decontamination. I don't need to rinse this, okay? Because I've already pulled the contamination off the surface. It's clean, okay? So I don't need to rinse this. But in this case, just to show you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this down a little bit. And then I'm gonna jump into my rust remover. Once I rinse this down, I'm gonna go ahead and foam it one more time as well. Because again, I want to add that lubrication for the rust remover and the clay towel, and also I want to prevent it from water spotting. And I'm not worried about getting the, rinsing this heavy. I just want to make sure that there is no little debris that might be on that surface. I just want to make sure I just rid it of anything that might scratch. So we already gotten everything that's going to come off. But anything that might be left over now, we're going to take care of it here. I'll go ahead and foam it down one more quick time. Just like so. And then I'm going to take my synthetic decontamination towel, fold it into fours. We don't want to go flat on the surface like this. Okay, we don't want to do that. There's no cushion there. If there was contamination, we'd really increase our chances of marring the surface. We want to have some cushion. Not only do we want to have some cushion, but when you squeeze this out, it'll give you some lubrication. Most people with the rust decontamination, they spray the whole car down. This is a very expensive chemical, by the way. What a waste of product. One spray to the surface, one spray to the towel. Now, a lot of people, detailers, they separate this step. They'll do the iron and rust decontamination either before or after the clay bar. If anything, you should do it before so it breaks down that contamination more for you. And then again, no pressure. I'm lightly going to spread this product around with my clay towel. This stuff stinks really bad too, so the less you have to smell it, the better. And when you do it this way, you don't smell it hardly. So I'm gonna let that go on here really gently. I'm gonna let it do its job before I do anything. Just let it work. When products dwell, they work. The longer they can dwell, the better they're gonna work. So the whole hood is covered. Get the glass. Should have done that other side while I was over there. That was dumb. And we just keep working our way. I'm not going to do anything in the direct sunlight just yet. So I'll just do this front half for now. And just lightly, again, no pressure. All right, now that that's dwelled, I'm going to flip my towel. I'm just going to do one more spray here for a little extra lube. And I'm just going to lightly, again, no pressure. I'm just holding the towel just over everything. So I'm combining my chemical and my mechanical decontamination step all into one. This cuts down on your time significantly. And there's little to nothing on this paint, which is awesome. That means we know for sure our coating is just doing an absolute wonderful job. And this coating's been on here for 2 years now. It's a System X Max 10-year coating. This coating does come with a warranty, a 10-year warranty that I don't really recommend because, as we can see here, we don't need it. if you maintain properly. I have never once, with the warranty, there's an inspection detail once a year. And the inspection detail is great. That should be kind of a given, with a ceramic coating. If you're not willing to do what I'm doing right now yourself, you need to hire a detailer once a year to come and do it for you to maintain that coating. But with the warranty comes an inspection detail, and the inspection detail comes with a topper ceramic coating. Now, that's an interesting theory. It's an interesting deal. Not that I don't love System X top coat, which is what we would use in that instance, but I'll tell you right now, it's never been on this car. I put one coating on this car, and that is it. And I don't think I'll ever need to put System X top coat on this car because I maintain this thing properly. And there's no need to add anything different or anything more. It's just going to do what it's supposed to do. I'm going to go over here and get that other glass. I'm going to speed this up. I'll bring it back in when I do the demineralization. All right, guys, time for the demineralization. Again, I'm using a DIY detail product. I just, I've been trying their products, and they're a little expensive, right? And they're for the DIYer, but they're for the professional as well. And I just got to say, I haven't tried something I don't like. I mean, my whole entire system's slowly just evolving to all DIY detail products. I know there's a lot of people out there that hate them. A lot of people out there that dog them. Check this out. I'm just going to take my towel that I used for the other wash. I'm going to wring it out pretty good. It's lightly damp. Now, check it out. If I get this to spray. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Trigger's going out on me, I guess. The reason this has failed is because this water spot remover is an acid-based product. Anyways, acid-based products destroy trigger sprayers. So they you got to get a really good trigger or keep replacing the triggers out. Let me go swap this real quick. I'll be right back. Now that we got a new trigger, couple sprays to the panel, couple sprays to the towel, just lightly rub it in. Again, this is acid, you guys. It smells really, really good, but I'm going to tell you right now, you do not want to breathe this in as much as you might be tempted to. Acid will destroy you from the inside out. If you don't know what acid does, then you should probably look into it, especially if you're using it and you're detailing cars a lot. Acid is very dangerous to the body, and it does not get broken down by your liver. So you need to really, really be careful when you're using acid-based products. You should be wearing a respirator every single time. I have a fresh, cool air out here today. I have plenty of fresh air, a little breeze. I'm fine. But if I was indoors, I would definitely want to consider a mask for sure. That's the problem with these detailing products. They make them smell so darn good, but every one of them is terrible for your health. I don't care what it is. I don't care what they say. Fragrance is terrible for your health. Any sort of fragrance, really, unless it's natural, oils, essential oils or something, okay? Fragrance is terrible for the body. Again, no pressure here. No pressure here. Just dwelling, doing its thing. Again, not going to really remove water spots, especially if they're heavy. If they're really fresh and light, it'll remove the water spots. That's not really the purpose of a water spot remover. The purpose is just to break down the minerals in there. I know I've said that, but repetition is how we learn, and redundance. So sorry if I am being a little bit redundant. Okay. That whole side of the car is dwelling. It's good. It's probably dwelled long enough, especially this front end. And we're just going to rinse it off. And since it's been so well maintained, you're not probably going to see a huge difference, but you might. hard to see just white. Let's see on the red here. So the way that you see that water basically start to dry itself, it sheets off. That's absolutely how that should be looking. And that would look that way, even whether your car was ceramic coated or not, it would look like that, okay? So this is why some people think, oh, there's something in these water spot removers that's adding protection. No, it's just demineralizing the surface and making it super clean. This is even like tenfold from what it was. Look how that's beaten off. So there was definitely some stuff there we got rid of. She's looking sharp. So once I finish the other side of the car, I'll come back, I'll dry the car with you. I'll show you what I do when it comes to that. All right, thanks for watching. All right, folks, the car is clean. It's washed, it needs to be dried. This is a very optional, but in my mind, it's not optional. I think it's mandatory, especially for me as a detailer. I think it should be mandatory for everybody. One more product, doesn't matter which one it is. I'm using Technician's Choice ceramic gloss, Technician's Choice ceramic sealant right now. DIY Detail makes a fantastic product called ceramic gloss that this would work great for. But really, any ceramic topper spray is just going to make everything that much more badass. One spray to the towel, one spray to the panel you want to dry. It's going to work as a drying aid, so you're going to dry even quicker. And you're going to leave behind a nice, slick layer of protection. It's going to make your life that much easier next time you go to go to wash the car. One spray, one spray. It's beneficial in more than one way. Adds lubrication, prevents you from marring or scratching the surface. And of course, that added protection that just makes it so sweet and really just keeps that slick touch to the touch. Because ceramic coatings, they're not always slick to the touch. You know, really, ceramic coatings are actually kind of a tacky, almost just like your clear coat, right? Or like glass, because they're glass. So if you touch glass, of course, this glass is super slick because it's all coated up. But most of the time, glass is going to be really tacky to the touch. And that's what a ceramic coating is too, right? It's non-stick, but it's still tacky. So it's nice to have this topper as a drying aid to really just enhance the slickness and that non-stick factor that everybody loves. I'm sure you can see how glossy this thing is. And it is just a beautiful car for being a 2010. It's, obviously it's 15 years old now. It was actually built in 2009, so it's getting old, but you'd never know it, and it's never been in the garage. Working our way to hopefully getting it into the garage here soon. And when you have the right drying towel, drying is easy. If you don't have the right drying towel, drying can suck. I will link all the products that I suggest in the description below, so you guys can get your hands on them. I am an Amazon affiliate, so anything that's Amazon would give me a small kickback. Anything links other than that will not. I'm gonna wring this towel out real good here and carry on. And then when we're done, I'll bring you back in and we'll finish this one up. Okay, folks, sorry that this video is so long, but really it needs to be to get this information out there. Boy, howdy, you can see how gorgeous this paint is, how quick. I mean, I know it's a long video, but very quick process, especially when it's just a wash, right? See, in this instance, we went through the whole yearly inspection process, right? If I was going to come back, a year after I ceramic coated your car, this is what I would do to it, right? And then depending on what coating you had, maybe I would do the same thing with the topper spray, or I would install a legit topper coating. Now, I wanted to show you what I do with the wheels. I use a different towel to dry the wheels. I don't want my nice towel dragging in the ground, okay? So, again, topper spray, couple sprays, one spray, whatever. Dry them up. And that's it. And when you do it this way, too, not that we did miss anything, and they're clean, but let's just say we did miss something, and there was a little bit of dirt. Well, pretty easy to mop it up with this. And we didn't. I mean, this towel is already dirty. It's an old, worn out microfiber towel, but it's clean. It's, it's clean. I'm not using an actual dirty towel. It just looks dirty. It's stained. Real quick, I just wanted to show you one last thing, which is the wash bucket that I used. Okay, all the towels that I used are in here. They're soaking in the rinseless wash to break down. Now, check this out. There's not much contamination in here, but hopefully you can see it at the bottom there, all those little grits. It trapped all the grit, which there wasn't much, like we said, because we did that pre-foam rinse. So all the contamination that was on the car is gone already. But there's nothing in that wash bucket. Why would I use a grit guard? Well, I wouldn't. What a waste of time. What a waste of money. So, all right, you guys. That's going to wrap it up for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I'll link everything you need to do this yourself in the comments below. It's not very expensive. These products are all highly concentrated. They last a very long time. Except for maybe the water spot remover, but still you'll get several washes out of that. As long as you're using the products appropriately and you're not over diluting. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and bleep bloop anything you want down below in the comment section. Any questions, comments. Gee whiz. Just, I mean, it just gets me every time. This is why I do what I do. I just really like shiny things. Anyways, material items are not the answer to happiness. The only thing that can do that is finding peace with your creator, creator of your soul, the creator of this universe, Yahuwah, our Father in heaven. So with that said, you guys, God bless you. See you in the next one.